You are listening to the First Down Breakdown with Beast and Breeze picks.
Like I've been ballin' 'cause I'm really ballin'. I wanna apologize, I'm not really sorry.
What is going on, folks? We are back. It is week 11 now. This is the First Down Breakdown. As always, my name's Beast Picks. This is my guy Breeze Picks. Kind of a up and down week for us. I know both me and Breeze were kind of battling at the end there, trying to stay positive. He ended up coming out 4-3. I ended up going 4-5. I was 4-3 entering Sunday Night Football. Things didn't go my way, but I know both me and Breeze had teasers with the Ravens to start the week off. So kind of a tough one on that. I don't know if you want to kind of dive into that one, Breeze. Give me your thoughts on Lamar Jackson.
Oh, I don't know if I should, because every time I do, I just hear the chirps from the fans, the friends, everyone. I don't even know what to say anymore. I think that game represents exactly what I've been saying all year. And everyone's like, it was a short bye week, all this BS. I don't know. Maybe that was his true colors. Maybe he just can't throw a ball.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, they lost by 12. It wasn't even like it was a close game. You know what I mean? Like if they lost on like a late field goal, but they looked awful in that game. And they've looked awful in a couple of games this year. Like I saw some Baltimore fans on Twitter and everybody's like, well, that was their one bad game. And then somebody responded and they're like, well, what about against the Bengals when they got absolutely smacked a couple weeks back? So it's been kind of a tough way to read that team because like you said, we bet with them. I bet them like -6.5 earlier in the year with my brother. Got absolutely screwed on that one. And sometimes when I bet against them, they start turning it up. Yeah, I was going to say. So we kind of even said, we were like, why
them anymore?
Yeah, we even kind of said, we're like, why do we even bet with this team anymore? Every time we do, it doesn't work out. But
like this week, they're probably in a good spot. But I was like, nope, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, so, but I mean, I guess enough about the Ravens. I feel like every time we do this show, even if because neither of us have a play on the Ravens this week or even a play on that game, we had to kind of fit in some Ravens smack talk. We're gonna have some Baltimore fans like commenting in pretty soon. You know, like what's your guys'
they're already chirping me.
yeah. I was gonna say.
I tweeted out Lamar is just not good, and then everyone just started flying in the mentions.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Yeah, man, I feel like outside
and I was like, I don't mean that he's like not like a little bit above average, but I mean he's not in my top 10 probably.
No, I mean
he's like borderline.
I think I'd say he's top 10, but we were having a conversation with people about top 5. But I mean, outside of Baltimore, there's other teams that we talk shit about. It's just it happens that Baltimore and Lamar Jackson seem to always be somewhere in the mix there. But I mean, honestly, outside of Baltimore, like my week wasn't that bad. Like I was 4-3 entering Sunday night. So I mean, I bounced back really, really nice. I went 4-2 on like the games prior to Sunday Night Football, and then I got stupid, man. I did some props on Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. Completely ruined the week, man. Like I said, I was 4-3. I should have just said, you know what, we're gonna calm down, watch the primetime games. But you know what, got a little greedy, and it bit me right in the ass. So I'm gonna just kind of stay away from props if I'm smart. So
I mean, both of them were the right play, I thought. Like.
Kenyon Drake finished 3 yards short. You know, I had over 17.5 receiving yards. Guy gets 15. So, but either way, I mean, not a bad week for us, really. I mean, I'm not going to be that upset about that situation. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I could have went positive. I just, kind of had some control. But you're 47, 28-2 on the year, man. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Breeze has been on a run, guys. I don't think he's had like a week where he hasn't been 4-3 or like better in probably at least like 5-6 weeks now. I'm 37-33. So, I mean, I'm above positive, but if I can get those numbers up this week, it would be huge. But as long as I'm staying above positive, we're going to kind of keep trying to build up. So we'll keep it going, but it's tough, man. Each week you want to keep it positive, even if it's just one win. And Breeze has had a couple weeks where he's just been on an absolute tear. So we'll see if we can keep it going. I know both of us got plays on a Thursday night game, so we'll get into it. Pats and Falcons. What do you got on this one? I know you got something.
Yeah, so this one I was kind of all over the place on where I wanted to go. It's like 6 is a tough number. And I know the public's gonna love the Pats. Like, they're hot right now. Mac Jones, I think, should probably be rookie of the year. He's having a great year. Really showing that he was really underestimated in the draft just because his like athletic ability. The guy can throw the ball and makes the right choice. I just think 6 here, it's a tough spot, and I feel like Vegas wants you to take Pats, and it's going to be some late kind of bullshit cover at the end. So to diffuse all that, I'm taking a teaser here. I'm doing Falcons plus 12.5 and under 53.5. The same game teaser.
Yeah, definitely.
So I also just so it's under 53. I don't really see it being that high scoring. I think the Falcons know that the Pats have been on fire. They're probably just going to run the ball and try to keep possession. So Pats don't score as often. So I see this game going under. It's Thursday, short week. Falcons got absolutely abused last week with Cowboys. So I think it's going to be a closer game. And we just need 12 to cover. So that's my teaser for tonight.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that's a good play with getting Falcons up to plus 12. They played awful last week. I don't think that's going to be a 2-week in a row thing. But play I got in this game is the other side of that teaser. Getting under 47.5 is just the actual number. I'm going to take the under there. I know you had kind of said you really liked that under. I think the same thing. Falcons at home, only 19.7 points per game. I mean, that's really not impressive at all. And then their last 3 games, including last week, which was an absolute dud, they've averaged 14.3 points. So they're really not playing their best football, especially on offense right now. Still some question marks in the air if Cordero Patterson's going to play or if it's going to be like Mike Davis in there. If Mike Davis is in there, even though I was high on him at the start of the year, man, they've had a lot of issues with him. So they don't really know what they're going to do, I think, at running back. But their whole kind of strategy, I felt like when they had Cordero Patterson, was kind of relying on him. So that might be reason that, the points have kind of been down. But the other side, the Patriots, man, in road games, their average points between like both teams is 39.7. So the under has actually not been a bad play. And that's like a full 8 points, below what we're actually looking at with 47.5. So the Patriots on the road, a much different offense. I've seen a couple games this year, like 2 weeks ago when they beat Carolina, it was 24-6. And I think Carolina's got a solid defense, better than the Falcons, but it's been the same thing in the Patriots games this year. I think they, beat the Jets. It was like 25-6. I know that was early in the year, but on their road games, I just feel like their offense has not been clicking on the same. And while Mac Jones has really impressed me the last 4 weeks, something tells me a Thursday night game on the road, like you said, short week, a lot less time to prepare. We might see a little bit of a lower scoring game out of that Patriots offense. So I'm taking under 47.5. So I like that play, just like you kind of said.
Yeah, Thursday night games are just always a mess, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll go to the 1:00 games though, man. If you want to lead it off with one of your plays, I know you got some.
Yeah, we can start with my favorite play for the 1:00. Honestly, my favorite play of the week. I'm going Vikings plus 2.5. Okay. And I'm gonna sprinkle that money line, baby.
Okay.
The Packers, they're just due for a bad game. They got a lot of injuries last week. Like Aaron Jones is probably out. I know that's not that big of a deal because they have like AJ Dillon, who's been pretty well. I just picked him up on fantasy. Hopefully he does well for me. But I think they got a lot of injuries on their defense last week against the Seahawks. I think it's gonna kind of come here to bite them. I see them honestly I know it's a divisional game, but kind of just see them playing through this, not really getting up for it much. Vikings are battling for a wild card spot. And it's a divisional game, so I think it's a huge spot for them to win. Mike Zimmer at home is usually pretty good about it, especially when they're a dog. So this is my favorite play of the week. I would sprinkle Moneyline Vikings and plus 2.5 Vikings.
Yeah, I like the Vikings in this game. We always kind of say that they play better at home. I know this year it's been a little bit different, but I want to say they're still playing, at a higher level at home. I think Packers are kind of one of those teams that it's a popular play to take the team that's 8-2, but 70% of the bets are on Packers. So even if you're just looking at a contrarian better standpoint where let's fade the public, I think that's a great play as well. So I kind of agree with you. I don't have a play on that game, but I agree with what you're saying on Vikings. I feel like they got to get it going at some point. And they might be able to do it against the Packers this week. 2.5 points feels like such a trap that, once again, perfect opportunity to take them.
Saints last week weren't covering the whole game, did some BS.
Yeah.
And also with the Vikings, I think in every game they've lost, they either had the lead or it's been like a 1-score game the whole game. So like they could be easily like, I don't know, 7-2.
For sure.
But they're at 4-5. So I think it's a much more important game for them. What do you got?
You know what? I got Colts plus 7.5 is the next play we'll get into. I know there's going to be a lot of Buffalo fans that are probably not liking this play so much, but it just has everything to do with, man, I think that Colts team is better than everybody expects. They got Wentz healthy now. Jonathan Taylor's been an absolute monster all year. 7.5 points for a Colts team that I think, once again, like you said, they're 5-5. They're trying to fight in, to try to get into, a couple wins, maybe get into a playoff spot. Buffalo, we've really seen some games where they've struggled lately. And while I know at the start of the year they were absolutely blowing out teams, I just don't think that they're performing at that level right now. I mean, we saw a couple weeks ago when they lost to 2 weeks back when they lost to the Jaguars. The offense was just all over the place. They lost that game like 9-6. I mean, the offense was not that great. And then they got a nice bounce back last week against the Jets. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, you know what? Maybe it was just a 1-game skid. But I think the Colts are a good enough team where 7.5 points feels like way too much to give them. So I like that play a lot. But I think it's down to like 7 now. Still not a bad play at all. But I'd say 7.5, you can get it. So
yeah, I like that. I'd say 7.5. I'd do it for sure. 7. I don't know if I'd really do it because I feel like it's like just a tough number. I mean, in worst case you push, but I think they should be able to compete with the Bills. I mean, honestly, it just comes down to is Wentz going to turn the ball over. Like if he doesn't turn the ball over, Colts do well. If he turns it over, they're in tough spots. So
Yep. So what other games you got here, man?
So let me go jump to the next one. I got Eagles. I took -1.5.
Mm-hmm.
You could do Moneyline if you want. Are you on the other side?
Oh yeah, I like this one.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yep, it doesn't happen much, but when it does,
I don't know. Hertz really impressed me last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he played the Broncos, but I mean, it's still like going mile high. It's a tough environment. I don't know if you saw Slay's like touchdown, but you see like Teddy Bridgewater not even tackle him.
Oh no, I didn't see that. I saw that he had a pick 6, but I didn't know.
Yeah, so like Bridgewater was like the last person to tackle him, and he literally was like running, and then he just went like he didn't even tackle him.
He didn't even want.
And then
didn't want to get hurt, I guess.
Yeah, and then everyone just like went off. They're like, "What are you doing?" Like that is just like you just gave up 6 points. But yeah, I think the defense really impressed me. Honestly, is why I'm going Eagles here. They're at home, also fighting for a wild card spot. Saints honestly did not look good at all. I don't know if Kamara's playing. I think he's still questionable. Could be wrong.
They said he's supposed to be back, so
yeah,
that was part of the reason I liked it.
So I think that'll help. But I just don't really see them like who's going to really stop, Devontae Smith. And they've been running the ball really well. The Eagles have. So I think if they continue to run the ball and making the passing game, I think they're in a good spot here.
Yeah, I got Saints +2 in this game. So, if it was 1.5, I'm not so sure I would do it. But kind of same situation as last week when we were taking the Saints. I feel like Sean Payton loves when his team's an underdog. He seems to always kind of show up. And, I agree they didn't play all that great last week. They probably could have used, a little bit more offense, especially if they had Kamara there. They used Ingram like a ton, like on checkdowns and stuff. So if they kind of stay with that strategy, I don't think it would be a bad idea. But a lot of this has to do with Kamara being back. I mean, that's a huge boost to that offense. But you know what? That rush defense for the Saints is number 1 in the league as far as yards per game. I want to say it's number 1 as far as like yards per carry as well. So they've been absolutely stout. And that's kind of a huge part of Jalen Hurts' game. And if they can stop Jalen Hurts, I hear like Miles Sanders might be back for the Eagles this week. Even if he is, I think the Saints defense on a rushing standpoint, which I think that's kind of the Eagles like bread and butter, is really kind of relying on Jalen Hurts, kind of going wild as far as when he can run, similar to the Lamar Jackson kind of thing. But I think that rush defense is going to keep them in this game. I love having Sean Payton as a 2-point underdog. I guess we'll see what happens. Philly's number 20 with yards per game against the run. So you have kind of polar opposites as far as run defenses. So if Kamara's healthy, they said he practiced on Wednesday. So if he plays, I love having Kamara against the number 20 rushing defense in the league. So +2, we'll see what happens, man. This is going to be one of those polarizing games. I can't talk too much shit really because I lost the last time we did this when I had the Broncos. And also, the Saints +2 isn't a play that I'm like absolutely feeling. So I can't talk too much shit on it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Right.
Last time we had this, I did win. So I'm just gonna humble brag myself and see what happens here.
Hey man, Eagles are 0-4 at home this year, man.
Hey, they're due for a win. Philly's fired up after last week.
Yep. So that'll be a good game, actually, to be honest, from a standpoint of if I was watching that
probably
game,
gonna be like
close.
It's probably gonna go under. Like honestly, it's probably the play, but
but
beats us.
All right,
but
let's get to what other games you got. I don't have any more 1 o'clocks unless you got some 1 o'clocks. Let's get to them.
Oh yeah, I got a couple more.
Okay.
We're going. Okay, so when I looked at this line Tuesday, I got it at like -155. Now it's at minus almost 170. But we're going Carolina Panthers money line. I don't know what the spread is right now. It's probably what, 2?
3.5. No, 3.
Three.
3 right now. So I'm seeing 3. But
well, I know it's a little steep, but I'm riding with the money line -170. If you don't like that, I probably wouldn't do the spread. But we're just going with back Cam, baby. He's back.
I was waiting for something.
I love me Cam Newton, man.
I know you do.
I love me some Cam Newton. He was firing me up last week. Big win against Cardinals. I think now he's got the reins. I think him and McCaffrey are just different. They got that connection, and I'm happy for him. And I really expect Washington to have a letdown game after last week, upsetting Tampa. I don't really see them winning this game at all. They lost Chase Young. I think Montez Sweat is also battling through an injury. But they have been a team that has really screwed us, like the Ravens. Yeah. But yeah, I just think that Cam's gonna be fired up. He's playing his old coach, and really hoping that they pull through here at home. But I still think it's gonna be a little messy game. That's why I'm not playing the spread. I'm just taking the money line.
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't have anything on this. Like I said, no 1 o'clock games, but I think there's a huge overreaction kind of to that last week's win from Washington. People are forgetting, like, they lost their prior 4 games. Like, they had lost 4 games in a row, and those games weren't even close. Like, they lost 33-22 to the Saints, 31-13 to KC, 24-10 to the Packers, and then 17-10 against Denver. So the closest game they had was a 7-point loss. And that was to Denver, who, I'm not saying Denver's bad, but they're not that good. I think they're on the same wavelength as the Carolina Panthers, for example. So give me Cam Newton and the Panthers. I like that money line. I don't even think the spread's all that bad of a play. Yeah, stay away from it. But yeah, I just feel like there's a huge overreaction. Like, you go and you beat Tampa Bay, people are like, oh my God, that's the Bucs. And you know what, man? Yeah. Tampa Bay had their bad game. We've seen plenty of teams have bad games this year. Like,
and I also think, like,
2 weeks
basically
ago,
Tampa spotted them 14 points, basically, or 10, whatever it was. Like, great room 2 picks.
Yeah, it was an awful game, man. Yeah. Awful game from the Bucs.
And then Washington goes on a 10-minute drive. The defense can get off the field. And they're basically like not even running any. Like, they're just running the ball. It's like stop the game, run.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the Carolina's defense is pretty solid. So I don't know. I don't see them losing this game.
No, I don't either, especially at home. Different environment. So they need a win too, man. Once again, a 5-5 team trying to get themselves back in. It's a must-win game. They're playing a 3-6 team. You can't drop that game. So if you want to keep going, how many more 1 o'clock games do you got here?
So I have one more.
Okay.
Taking the over in the Niners and Jaguars 45.5. This one, Jaguars just been awful stopping the run. Yeah. We saw what the Niners did to the Rams running the ball. And the Jaguars have been putting up some points. They're not really a first half team, but they've been putting up points late in the second half when they're down 20, 14, 15, whatever it is.
Yeah, some
So
garbage
you always
time.
can trust on them to get the garbage points. 45 is not a lot. I could easily see the Niners putting up at least 24, maybe 30. Then you just need the Jaguars to cover another 14 points. Probably see this one being like 30-21 Niners. So I have this game going to the 50s. I think it's a pretty low spot. Jaguars at home, I expect them to hang in there for a little bit, scoring wise with the Niners.
Yeah, 45.5 is a lot lower than I would have expected for that game. I mean, I get it. Jags aren't really, the greatest team in the world, but everything about this game telling me, like it's San Francisco -6.5. I feel like that's going to trap some people into taking them after last week's win over the Rams. I feel like this game's going to be closer. I think for whatever reason, something's telling me Jags getting them at home. They'll stick in this game. Maybe Trevor Lawrence, has, something cooking.
The other reason why I took it too is just because, like, I mean, the spread's at 2.5, so Vegas expects a close game, and the only way it's going to be a close game, I think, is if they keep up with the 49ers offense. And also the public, as of right now, I think the last time I looked, it was like 58% were on the under.
Yeah, it's like
56,
57 right now.
Yeah, the line hasn't moved really much at all. So I think that tells you something.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I'm on the over here. Don't love it, but I think it's just the right play systematically.
Yeah. We'll get to the 4:00 games. I like that play a lot, like I said. How about let's go to a game I know both of us have. Kind of a bold play, but I'm sticking with, my gut as far as Seahawks versus the Cards. Seahawks +2.5. I know both of us have this play. I just feel like everything's telling me that, Kyler Murray is questionable. I don't even know if he's going to play. So you're getting the Seahawks +2.5, and it's at home. The Seahawks look like they're a bad team because they didn't play that great last week against the Packers, which Packers are not a bad team. So losing that game, I know they didn't put up any points, but they lost that game. And I think there's probably going to be a little bit of an overreaction. Give me Russell Wilson. Now he's back. He's had 1 week to kind of get back in the swing of things. He looked pretty bad last week. I'm not going to lie to you. I was watching that game and he was overthrowing, underthrowing. But I think things are going to get a little bit easier this week. They're going to be back at home. You're going to have that crowd. I mean, one of the best home environments as far as the NFL goes. And I just feel like Russell Wilson's got to get it right. The Seahawks look like their record shows they're 3-6, but giving me Russell Wilson back. I'm going to just let Russ cook. I just got to this gut feeling that the Seahawks are not going to lose this game. I wouldn't even mind Moneyline, frankly, but +2.5 is a nice number because if this game does become one of those games where Kyler Murray, does play and kind of gets into a shootout, we might be able to have Seahawks kind of still cover on like a 1 or 2 point loss. So, if you want to go to yours.
Yeah, this is my last play for the week. I'm on Seahawks with you. Yep. Really got burned by them last week. I thought it'd be a good spot to take them against the Packers. I think it was the right play. I mean, they were moving the ball. They just would get down in like the Packers zone and make a turnover. Really, like they were in the game till like 8 minutes left in the quarter of the fourth. I thought the defense played really well last week with the Packers. I honestly don't think Kyler Murray's playing. I don't know. I don't care if he practiced or whatever. I think it would just be very stupid for him to play. I mean, next week they have a bye, so why don't you give him like basically 2 weeks rest and compare to 1 week? But beats me. I personally wouldn't play him. They're 8-2, and even without him, they're not that bad of a team. But yeah, I don't think he's going to play, and I just expect Wilson to bounce back. I think Carson's expected to play this week, which is big.
Yep.
Expect their running game to get going here. And yeah, I think this is literally like must win. If they lose this game, their season's over.
Right.
So I don't know. A lot of our plays this week are kind of focused on teams that are really trying to make the playoff hunt. Like I've said before, there's always good teams to back. They just get up different for the games. They know it's must win. Come well prepared. Yep. If I lose those games, I accept those losses. All right.
But, yeah, sometimes it's just about sticking to the gut on it. Yeah. Like you said, I mean, I don't see the Seahawks making a playoff run at 3-6. I mean, it's deep into the year. It's unfortunate that they lost Russ for a few weeks and had to do the Geno Smith thing. But it doesn't mean that they're not, still a decent team. They're still going to push. I mean, it's the NFL. Like these guys, they take it very serious. And we see it every year with the Lions. Unfortunately, the Lions never seem to be in a playoff position. You always see these guys in the locker room. I mean, they're still professionals. They're going to put everything they got out there. So Seahawks, they're going to go into this game saying, hey, everybody's saying Cardinals, 8-2, everything. And I think at home, there's a nice advantage they got. I'm going to stick to my gut on there. And I like that play a lot. So I got one more 4:00, and then I got the Sunday night football game. So we'll get to that last 4:00. I got Dallas +3 against the Chiefs on the road. Listen, I don't want to disrespect the Chiefs too much because I don't want to have to eat my words if Mahomes goes on like a deep playoff run. But I don't really think the Chiefs are as good as they've been in past years. I think Mahomes has been kind of looking different. People are going to say, well, wait a minute. They blew out the Raiders last week. Dude, I don't really think the Raiders are, some team to really hang your hat on. I think they've had some questionable wins. They beat the Giants like 20-17. There was that ugly game against Green Bay 2 weeks ago when Rodgers wasn't playing, where they won 13-7 against a Jordan Love-led Packers team. Ugly wins. They've lost. They got smacked by the Titans earlier this year. And then on the other side, we got the Dallas Cowboys. And I know Stephen A. Smith and a lot of these guys like to clown the we them boys, man, we them boys. But Dallas +3, man. Dallas looked awesome last week against the Falcons after 2 weeks ago, losing to Denver. I think they went in that locker room. Mike McCarthy's like, dude, we got to get this shit right. The Cowboys came out last week, looked like a completely different team, and they've looked really good at times this year. I mean, we've seen them have some really, really nice wins. I just think Dallas at 7-2 is probably one of the better teams. They're in my top 5, I'd say for sure. I'm a lot higher on them than a lot of people are because I think people are just used to the Cowboys kind of getting to the playoffs and then falling apart or whatever else. But Dak Prescott's he's back. You want to talk about who's back? Dak is back. And I think Cowboys +3, you're giving me 3 points for the Cowboys who have looked awesome this year. And KC has not looked that good. I think there's going to be plenty of money going KC's way. I don't know what the percentage is. Let me see right now. 50, you know what? It's 50-50. So either way, but I like Dallas. I'm going to take +3 on that all day. I just think KC, I don't care if they're at home. Cowboys are a better team. I'm going to say it, and maybe I'll eat my words. Mahomes might do his thing, but I'm taking Dak over Mahomes this week. So we're going to see it. But
yeah, I stayed away from this one. I think it's probably just the fact like best game on the card this week.
It's going to be a great game. Great game.
Yeah, I just stayed away because I was like, I'd rather just watch that game and not have to fucking sweat anything. But I do agree with you. I think the Cowboys are the better team, but I think this is a perfect trap. Like, I hate to say it, but I feel like Chiefs at home, their offense looked good last week. My only thing is like, who's going to guard Kelsey? Like, I don't think the Cowboys.
He looks great.
Yeah, I don't think the Cowboys have an answer for him.
Maybe their linebackers can kind of get some going. You can't stop Kelsey though.
That's my only worry is like their linebacking court. I know they have like Micah Parsons, but he's more so been rushing than been guarding coverage. But I honestly just think it comes down to like the passing game. And I just also thought that over is high as shit. Like,
yeah, it has to do with KC's defense. And that was like our thing we said early in the year. We're like, dude, Kansas City doesn't have a good defense. They don't, but
I don't know. I think that thing's too high, like 56. That's like both teams have to put up 30. I don't know.
Dude, if it becomes one of those games, it's gonna be fun to watch.
That's a lot of points.
I agree.
Like that was the only play I was gonna go here was probably do under, but then I'm like, do I really want to sit there while enjoying this game and not cheer for scoring? So that's why I stayed away. But I think under is a good spot here. Like I had the over in KC last week, and even that was a sweat. Came down in like the last minute. But yeah, I think because Cowboys are gonna run the ball, they're gonna establish their offense, they're gonna take time off the clock. In Kansas City, I don't know. I don't love the over. I think under's the play here, but that's all my thoughts are on this one.
Yeah, We'll go on to the Sunday night game. This is a play that, once again, you got to trust your gut. I don't like doing it, but I'm taking the Steelers +6 against the Chargers. And good God, does that scare me after watching what we saw last week out of that Steelers offense against the Lions? Oh my goodness. That was an ugly game. And maybe the Lions, should take that as a moral victory, but a tie against the Lions for the Steelers, that's a loss for the Steelers at the end of the day. The Steelers just looked really bad last week, but end of the day, you're getting Steelers +6. Justin Herbert has been very up and down this year. Didn't look that great last week. I have him on my fantasy team, and 1 week he'll put up like 37 points on fantasy. The next week it's like an 11. So I'm high on Justin Herbert as his future goes, but he's put out some duds. Like 3 out of his last 4 games, they were saying he has just not looked very good. He's put up some duds at the end of the day, but a lot of this also has to do with shout out Chris Raybon on Action Network. I looked into some of his stuff, and he had kind of posted some plays. So part of this is tailing him. He said Mike Tomlin is 37-15 against the spread as a dog from week 3 on in his career. That's 71% against the spread when he's a dog after week 3. So once he kind of gets his team, cooking after week 3, Mike Tomlin 71% against the spread when he was an underdog. So kind of the same idea when we talk about Sean Payton playing as an underdog. Some of these coaches, Mike Tomlin, very experienced coach, very good coach. There's a reason he has Super Bowls under his belt. And you know what? I also just think Chargers have really shown me that they can be beat. They've looked up and down, 5-4. They've had some real duds themselves. They didn't look all that great against Minnesota last week. So this is one of those games also. When I talk about taking your gut, the huge part of my gut is also looking at Chargers on Sunday Night Football, getting 68% of the bets right now, yet the line is kind of moving in Pittsburgh's way. I have it at +6. I think I saw it at +5.5 on other books. So it's kind of now going towards the Chargers, which means that money is coming in on the Steelers, even though you have 68% of those bets. And it's only Thursday. What's going to happen on Sunday when it's 4:00 and people are losing their money and they got to pay their bookie on Monday and they got to put those last bets in? You think they're going to take the Steelers on Sunday Night Football? No way. Everybody's going to look at this game and they're going to say, dude, the Steelers lost, or pretty much lost the Lions. I consider that a loss. It's a tie. They tied the Lions 16-16 against the team that has no wins, the worst team in the league this year. They're going to say, no way, I'm not taking the Steelers. And they're going to put all their money on Chargers. And then the Steelers are going to pull our classic primetime game. What's happened with the Rams the last 2 weeks? The Rams have lost on primetime. I love taking underdogs on primetime games and getting them at +6. The Steelers defense is still good. I mean, like, nothing's happened there. So +6, like that number a lot. You're like, I could never touch them. I get it. I'm not
touching this. I had them last week, and that was terrible.
Yeah, I did too. I had first half, and it tied.
I just didn't touch it. Like, I think it opened at -4. I think that was a great number to get the Chargers at. So if you got it at that, great ticket to have. -6 starts getting a little risky. You miss a PAT, you don't cover, you win by 5. I don't know. That one's tough. But if it goes back down to like 4, I'm hopping on the Chargers. Like,
yes,
Steelers lost. Like, I don't think. I think Watt's out, and I think they lost Hayden too last week.
Right.
So I think that's big. It's probably like best player in the secondary, best defensive lineman. Probably over is not a bad play either. Like, both teams have a lot of injuries on their defense.
Yep.
But then you're also trusting Mason Rudolph to make some throws.
Yeah. They said the other thing that kind of played into it is they said Mason Rudolph is they're planning for him to start, but Big Ben, I guess Mike Tomlin's quote was, "We're leaving the light on for Big Ben if he wants to like play." And I think Big Ben's the better quarterback after seeing what Mason Rudolph was last week. But you know what? Mason Rudolph showed he had a couple runs last week, I thought, that were, decent. at least I thought so when I was watching the game. I thought he had a little bit more mobility. Ben Roethlisberger is just basically like a boulder in the pocket. He don't move. If you can't block for him, he's done. So I like the over as well. That was actually my initial play.
Bad, but it was just his receivers kind of screwed him, honestly, in many of the cases. But.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the over was not a bad play on that either. 47 was the number. And it seems like one of those games that it should go under and everybody's going to hit the under. Talk about percentage wise. I think I forget what I'd have to look at it. Let's see what it was. But it was a high, 73% on the under right now. That's a high number. So that's a game where you take the over, fade them on the prime time. But the other prime time game we got, I don't have a play on it, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what you'd take. Giants and the Bucks. Giants are plus 10.5 in this game. The over under is 49.5. What would you lean on that game?
Yeah, so this one I'm gonna see how my week goes, but I actually almost added it to the card. I think the Bucks are gonna slaughter them. I think they win by like 14. I think it's like 10.5 probably right now.
Yeah, 10.5.
Yeah, I think Bucks is a good spot here. Expect them to come back hot after last week, back at home. I don't really see them losing this one. I think it's gonna be a complete blowout. I don't care if Barkley's back; he ain't gonna do shit. Yeah.
No, I agree. I feel like the popular play, and it's gonna be a popular underdog this week. I think it's gonna be Giants at like plus 10.5, plus 11.
Yeah, so many points, but like
and everybody saw what Tampa Bay looked like last week, but that was at Washington. This is in Tampa Bay. I think the Giants suck, and I feel like kind of like you said, this feels like it's going to be one of those games that we want it to be closer, and I'm sure there's going to be people that are like, no, man, you're getting a double-digit underdog, but I agree. I think Tampa Bay rolls this week. Tom Brady probably is absolutely horrified with how his team looked last week. Tom Brady did not play great he threw like 2 interceptions last week that were kind of game changers. So he's going to want to come back this week and really put it to the Giants. The first half would not be a bad play either. Minus 6.5. They're going to be up a touchdown at half. I can almost, guarantee that, but I don't want to guarantee it because I don't even have a play on it. But like you said, might not be a bad play. I think the number is going to keep going up. I wouldn't be surprised if this was like minus 12.5 by game time because everybody's, going to either go with Giants or they might hammer Tampa Bay. But I'm staying away, like you said. Maybe I'll throw something out there on Monday. But that's my last, at least that's our last game that we're kind of going over. So other than that, guys, we'll kind of give you guys a recap of our plays right now. I got Pats and Falcons under 47.5. Saints plus 2 against $1 here. And then Colts plus 7.5. Seahawks plus 2.5. Dallas plus 3. And Steelers plus 6. Once again, I have pretty much all underdogs.
So I got same game teaser under 53.5. in the Falcons game and Falcons plus 12.5. Favorite play of the week, Vikings plus 2.5 at home. Eagles fly, baby fly against Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Minus 1.5. Big Cam, baby, money line against Washington. And then over 45.5 in the Niners game. And Russell Wilson plus 2.5 against the Cardinals with Seattle.
Yeah, man, I like Seattle a lot this week, but the other game that's big.
Sierra's got to get my boy Russell right before the games. Needs a little massage or something.
Give him a little shoulder massage. Get that arm right. You know what I mean?
Get my guy right.
Hey, he didn't look great last week, so he maybe he just needs a little loving. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess it doesn't work, for everybody, but Tom Brady and Giselle, I mean, he's done a lot. You know what I mean? I don't know. But, hey, other game this week, we got Michigan State Spartans against Ohio State.
Garbage Hey, this is when the podcast ends.
he's like, cut it. No, man. I don't really know what to expect.
Slaughterhouse.
It could be. I'm nervous about it, but if nothing else.
And then the following week, it's okay. Michigan will get slaughtered too. So we're.
I was gonna say, if nothing else, if we don't beat them, I don't think that Michigan's gonna beat them, because I feel like Michigan and Michigan State are relatively pretty close to talent. Obviously, the game was close, but the rankings
the only
are close.
difference is that like ours is at home, and you guys, it kind of sucks. You guys have to go to the road, like worse.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not a night game. I was thinking,
sure.
I was almost willing to guarantee they would put that game at like 7:30 in Columbus, do an absolute like whiteout for the crowd.
Yeah.
And they didn't. We're getting them at 12 o'clock. So not so bad on that front, but might be an awful way to start my Saturday off. I might be pretty pissed off by 3:30 in the afternoon. So it is what it is, though. We're going to root for
Spread's a lot.
What's that?
I think the spread's like what, 19 or 20?
Yeah, I saw 20. So my bias is saying, oh yeah, it takes Spartans, but I'm not touching it. Can't bet on that game. If they somehow win, whatever, but I'm excited for the game. There's going to be a lot of really good college football going forward. I know this is an NFL podcast, but definitely excited to see what goes on with the college football playoffs and everything. And then obviously the NFL, man, things are heating up, just like we kind of alluded to today. A lot of teams fighting for playoffs right now, a lot of 5-4, 6-3. And they're right on that cusp. You know what I mean? You go on a run and you win like 4 games in a row at 5-4. Now next thing you know, it's like you're 9-4 going into those last few games. And so we'll see. But that's all we got for this week, guys. Excited to kind of see if we can, keep getting some wins for you guys. Obviously, Breez has been on an absolute tear this year. I've been better lately. I got to be honest. Last week wasn't my best showing with the 4-5, but I think I've been pretty hot. Yeah, pretty hot. So we'll see if we can keep it going, guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
Have a good one.